Hello, hello, time for a video. Well, I only have time to make this now because I was expecting a student, but they haven't come. I don't know if it's because of the difference in the time zones. We have this thing in Europe where we put the clocks back and, in winter and put them forward in summertime. Quite ridiculous, really, and it can be confusing for some. Anyway, that being said, I've got some time now, so let's have a look at these. Okay. Now we've got quite a lot of introductions for this particular topic. So let me have a look. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, yeah, there's a few. There's a few here. We didn't include every introduction because, as Payman has said on several occasions, we want you to comment and share on our channel on Apparat or Apparat, however you pronounce it. I don't quite know. Anyway, that's what we want. We want comments, and then we will assess short introductions for you. That's how it works, essentially. So, in spite of the advances made in agriculture, many people around the world still go hungry. Why is this the case? What can be done about this problem? So, first thing we note, it's a two-part question. Okay, so I've written my own introduction below, as usual. We'll take a look at that and I'll show you how to paraphrase. How I have paraphrased it, I should say. So, in spite of the advances made in agriculture, becomes despite advancements in the agricultural field. Okay, so in spite, despite advances, advancements. As I keep on saying, it's more effective to change the word form if you can't think of a synonym, because as we'll no doubt see in these introductions, several synonyms, I'm sure, because that's the case every week, do not match, they're not interchangeable. So if you're not sure, rather than losing marks because of that, simply change the word form. Many people around the world go hungry. World hunger is still a major problem for many people. Okay, so that's the paraphrase of the topic. 2 clauses. Okay, so now we've got to answer the question and give some idea where it's going. So, what I would talk about here, so paragraph 2, I'm going to be talking about the reason why. Why is this the case? And I'm going to be talking about a drought. I don't know how I would develop it. I did write an example essay. I can't remember what I said. It was something about drought. The climate in many parts of the world doesn't get enough rain, and despite advances, there's not a lot that we can do about it because we can't make rain, and etc. So the solution, which I talk about or would talk about in paragraph number 3, would be helping developing countries to better manage their water supplies and associated infrastructure. I think from what I was reading, that's something like, 50-60% of water is wasted through leaky pipes and inefficient draining systems, or something such as that. So it's quite a lot of waste. So drought's one of the reasons there's not enough water for the crops. However, this can be fixed by building reservoirs to store the water for future droughts and, fixing the leaky pipes, etc. So that's where this essay would be going. Now, what have you to say on this issue? Let's have a look. Despite the progress which has been made in agriculture and cultivation, a significant number of people are still hungry all over the world. Okay, good. Climate changes, government insufficiency, economic issues, etc. are most striking factors in the case of it, what? Are the cause of it, so that needs reworking. Can you see why I'm going here? So we've got climate change, government inefficiency, if that's what that means, economy, and then the solution is to eradicate insects. But you've just said climate change, government inefficiency, or etc., and the economy are the most striking factors. Oh, so to solve this, we need to eradicate insects. Can you see why I'm slightly perplexed here? Okay, so apart from that slight illogical inconsistency, not too bad, which had a pernicious effect on cultivated plants used in pesticide. Okay. Despite moving forward in agriculture, there's a large number of people suffering from global hunger. Well, they're not suffering from global hunger. How can a person suffer from, I'm globally hungry? You mean people, so global hunger affects a large number of people. You need to turn it round, Oh, I'm so globally hungry, I could eat a horse. Well, no, you are not. One of the main reasons is wasting food around the world. As a problem solution, food consumption should be balanced in wealthy balanced. How food consumption should be balanced in wealthy countries. Okay, all right. We would have to wait and read the rest of the essay to see where this is going, but okay. Although in recent years, don't need an article, rapid progress has been made in agriculture. A vast number of people around the world suffer from hunger. Okay, good. The main reason may lie in the unbalanced distribution of wealth and technology. Excellent. To ameliorate the situation, developed countries can share their knowledge and technology with other nations. Oh, okay. Pretty good. We will see what the rest of the essay says. There's a lot of people who are hungry around the world, while, contrast, despite increasing advancement, we don't need that article, increasing advancement in agricultural technology, we don't need that article either, because we're talking about advancement in general. Agriculture, possibly we should make it agricultural, make it an adjective form. Agricultural technology in general terms. Okay? It is mostly happened economically. It is mostly happened, or you mean it mostly happens economically, because rich countries don't like to give their real knowledge and technology freely and demand money for them. What you mean, they sell them, which is not quite the same as demanding. Money. To solve the issue, what is it? You mean we? Or the issue needs cultural advisement. You mean, what is cultural advisement? And volunteers, well, you mean simply volunteers. We don't need to say people. It's not going to be a volunteer orangutan or a volunteer panda. Of course, it's going to be people. To inform how, to inform how difficulties can appears the world. No idea. To inform how difficulties shape, appear, I don't know. Examiner wouldn't be wasting any time on deciphering that either. So, despite the developments in agriculture related to right. No, it's not. It's not controversial. It's not controversial, in fact. To spell it right, it's not. It doesn't say anything about controversial. IELTS don't choose controversial topics. They don't. They don't choose controversial topics purposely. So don't say that it's controversial, because it's not. It might be a pressing issue, But why is it controversial? I mean, are people denying that global hunger exists? Now that would be controversial, but people are not. So, okay. Global hunger is becoming a significant issue in today's world. So if we change that, a significant issue in today's world, that's good. In my opinion, some convincing reasons, such as excessive waste of food, unbalanced distribution of wealth. Okay, that's good. To tackle this problem, governments, especially developed countries, should conduct many. Right. Tells me nothing. Some measures can be beneficial for somebody, somewhere, somehow. Doesn't tell me anything, I'm afraid. Now, you see the previous ones. So even though this one here is kind of vague, cultural advice and volunteers, presumably to spread information. Knowledge, technology should be shared. Food consumption should be balanced. So when you say many possible measures, it's a little bit vague. Well, it's not just a little bit, it's extremely vague. There's some measures that some people might do somewhere, somehow. Okay. So, change controversy to significant issue or something, and try and give us some clue where it's going. Okay? It is becoming increasingly common to hear about people who are starving. Okay. There's some reasons and some solutions. Okay, well, keep my previous comments in mind for that. I'm not going to say it again. Well, okay, I will. There's some reasons and some solutions, but I'm not going to tell you what they are. Okay. In recent decades, farming and husbandry, the management of animals and the land, holds and rising trend and flourishing throughout the world. So you mean there's been technological advancements in agriculture? Then simply say that. Farming and husbandry hold a rising trend? What does that mean? Flourishing? Again, it's technological advancement, so say that. For all that, tremendous number of public, you mean people, a tremendous number of people around the world suffer from poverty. It's not poverty, hunger. Poverty is not the same. Admittedly, they are linked, indeed, but hunger and poverty are not the same. Hunger means you don't have enough food to eat. Poverty means you can't afford to buy anything to eat. Not quite the same thing. This problem stems from man-made industrial effects. Consequently, uncontrollable climate changes. To tackle this issue, should be taken under control by country. So this needs a bit of rewording. I think needs a bit of rewording, shall we say? Nowadays, despite the long-term, well, it doesn't say anything about long-term, but still, the long-term projects related to the mechanization of agriculture, as well as using starving. Right. Now, I'm only laughing because starving to death, yes, it is quite controversial. If I was starving to death, I would probably think, I'm so hungry, this is controversial. But however, it's not talking about starving to death, it's talking about world, though undoubtedly in some parts of the world that does occur. And again, it's not controversial. Is it really? It's not controversial. It doesn't say anything about starving to death. It says still go hungry. So they've got some food, they just don't have enough to ease their hunger. So it's not quite the same thing. So you need to be a little bit careful. Oh, sorry. Yawn. Sorry. Where are we now? So, where was I? Okay. So, cultivate more crops. Okay, starving to death. Controversial issue. Well, it hasn't really. Unbalanced distribution of wealth and some nations. This station, right? And then we've got this at the end. Some solutions, but I'm not going to tell you what they are. Okay. Despite all cultivation's progress, you mean advancements in agriculture. Again, not the same thing in terms of synonym. This is a good example of what I mentioned a moment or two ago. If you can't think of a synonym that's direct, interchangeable, agriculture is not cultivation. Technological advancements are not specifically progress. It's related, it's kind of linked, but it's not the same thing. Still suffering from starvation, you mean? And again, it doesn't really say starvation, though it's kind of implied. Owing to insufficient production, distribution of cultivated products, you mean of food? And overusing, right. And then, again, what do we have? Some simple measures, but practical ones to tackle the issue. Such as. So you can see we've got half of the essays, my own, half of the introductions, right? Even though this one's slightly illogical, it does say, okay, eradicate insects. We should balance food consumption. That's a bit vague, but still. Share their technology and wealth. Cultural advice, volunteers. And then we've got many possible measures, some reasons and solutions. Here we've got some actual reasons, processing as well as the chemical structure. I'm not sure what the chemical structure of that food has to do with starvation, but still. Then some solutions, some simple measures. So you can see we've got two general approaches to writing an introduction here. Okay. Technology has brought significant advances in all areas, such as medicine, education in particular. Right. Don't need this. Don't need it. All areas. We don't need it. Simply state what it's talking about. Agriculture. Unfortunately, a large number of people around the globe still suffer from a lack of nutrition. It's kind of, but hunger and nutrition are not the same thing. Nutrition is the nutritional value of your food. Hunger is not having food to eat, not having enough food. Nutrition is the value of the food, vitamins and minerals, etc. So it's connected, but it's not quite the same thing. Wasting food, mismanagement can cause this issue. Well, we can cause this problem. Educating people, educational, technological infrastructures would solve the hunger problem during the time. What time? Why is there a definite article there? Infrastructures. And again, well, what infrastructures are you talking about? Okay, but still, it's better than there's some solutions and there's some measures that I won't tell you about. Okay, these days automation made the big change. You mean has made a big change, present perfect, and progress in agriculture. Automation. Okay, well, I suppose that's a particular technological advancement. So why is this two sentences? But hunger is not eradicated completely yet. It's because of unfair wealth distribution and political aspects. This issue is mostly seen in developing and... Well, is it? Developing and underdeveloped countries? Because that's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Developing, underdeveloped. That's basically what it's saying. Governments should take action on this issue. What action? By, how do you spell professional? By professional experts, by consulting professional experts. And what would they tell them, these professional experts? We don't really know. So it's not as bad as the others. Some measures, some solutions, but okay. Not too bad. Despite developments having been made, why is that past perfect? Despite developments being made in the agricultural industry, a lot of people in different countries are suffering from starvation. This essay will discuss the cause for this issue and will suggest a possible resolution. We don't really need that sentence. We don't. I mean, because you say the main reason is blah, 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 social unbalance because... so, right, there's too much stuff in this introduction, right? I'm going to... Right. Too much. You don't need all this, so don't need that. Okay. The main reason is social unbalance among the people who live in undeveloped countries. So we don't need this either. This is explaining. This should be in your body paragraph. It shouldn't be here. In order to, so we've got 3 sentences now, right? Restate the topic. The reason is, answer to question 1, social unbalance. Answer to question 2, adjustments should be made in politics, whatever they might be, and social aid should be provided for poor people. So, cutting those, 3-4 sentences out has made this a much better and tighter introduction. That's now pretty good. Right. Well, that seems to be it for today then. So, as you can see, we've got basically 2 types of introduction here. We've got those that do actually answer the question, however vaguely, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this. And we've got the second type that just says, that gives what some people might call a scope, a sentence. Essentially it's a waste of words because it doesn't tell the reader anything. There's some answers, some solutions to some problems that some people somewhere somehow might do, which doesn't really tell the reader anything. So there's those 2 types. Try and make sure that your type is the former, not the latter. Okie doke. See you next time. We'll post another topic as soon as possible. Okay then.